Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of the AI Radio Show. This is me, your host Aarti, and we've been live for like 4 seasons now, if you've not noticed. And this is season 4 and episode 5. We have 5 episodes in on this season 4, which is amazing, which makes this 45th episode. And welcome back. For those of you joining here for the first time, um, quick introduction. We go live every single day, Monday to Friday, where I talk about all the different AI tools that has dropped, different news around AI, who's fighting with who, and anything that goes on in AI, I report it straight to you. You can kind of call me as a AI journalist if you want, but that's what I do, and I love doing it. And I hope you kind of like listening to me as well, because I see the number of viewers of all of my episodes increasing, which is a good sign, and which is for that. And I also saw a huge bump in the subscriber count, which is again a huge help for me. So thank you once again for being so supportive and joining all my live and watching the replay, reading all my newsletters, following me on LinkedIn. And speaking of LinkedIn, I just reached 11K followers, which is pretty amazing because I mean, it's not about how many followers they have and chasing followers. Okay, I took a goal of reaching 1 million people with my content, where I teach everything about AI, everything that people need to know, because this is the future we are living in, right? And you could have, I mean, you would have seen the title of this specific episode, that 2026 is the year AI becomes the workforce. All right, so it's now or never. If you are not learning about AI today, you are heavily missing out, and you might even be, I don't know. It's high time that you learn, and there are several research out there which kind of it sounds very alarming that we see a lot of chat gpt users rising each and every day, but then the actual count of people who kind of use AI for a day-to-day activity, that's still pretty low. All right, and with the pace that AI is moving these days, if we are not using AI to the fullest, I'm not talking about chatting with ChatGPT and then asking it to create an image or summarize something for you or write an article for you. That's just chatting with a chatbot. Are you building agents? Are you using agents? Are you applying AI to your existing role? All right, so this is what 2026 is all about, and this is what you should be doing, and this is what I teach as well. So a quick set of announcements that I wanted to make before we dive into the huge and amazing news that's awaiting us. So, number one is that I am hosting a special workshop. It's called the Irreplaceable OS. So, it's basically a pretty cool workshop if you think about it. Not many of them are teaching about it. There are no huge tutorials about it. So it's basically how you can kind of equip yourself with AI so that you can become this spectacular person who can become irreplaceable or unfireable in your current role. So if you've decided that 2026 you're supposed to kind of switch careers, move into an AI role, you could be wrong, because the number of AI roles are limited and the number of people looking for AI roles are like enormous. So the better option for you is, if you're already working, if you're already part of an organization, the best approach is to bring in AI to the role that you are doing right now. So you could be in sales, marketing, support, or you can be an artist, you can be a designer, a nurse or a doctor, or some kind of a healthcare worker who do not kind of use AI or any tech even in your current role. But then, if you are the person who brings in this tech to your specific role, you would stand out. And when the leadership is kind of deciding as to who to lay off or who to kind of like fire, your name wouldn't be there, and I would help you with it. So join me on this march, where I teach you how to become irreplaceable in your existing role. Okay, the links are all over on my social, Instagram, LinkedIn, anywhere that you're watching this from. So go hit that link, and then you know kind of join my workshop is what I want to say. It's free and it's online. So what are you waiting for? Just simply subscribe. Okay. Now, in other set of announcements that I have is basically just one moment. I'm pulling something up so that you can see that. Okay, so the other announcement that I have is I teach you to build Jarvis. Okay, so I don't know how many of you watched the Iron Man movie, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. So Iron Man has this personal assistant called Jarvis, which kind of upgrades itself. Sorry, Iron Man upgrades Jarvis into a pretty cool, amazing um, another assistant called Friday. So on the whole, these are different AI agents connected to different tools, like your light, or the weather API, or your air conditioner. So just with the voice that you do, and also with the video, you can also like connect video to it so that it can see you and then talk to you. I did an in-person workshop where I taught like 50 plus people to build Jarvis, and it was a hit. So I am going to be doing the same thing, and I'm going to be hosting another workshop online this time in April. So visit my website. You will have the joining link, and or it'll also be in the description or any of my social platforms. So just subscribe, and then secure your seat, because this is a workshop. The seats are going to be limited, so make sure that you kind of like register right away so that you don't get left out. Okay. Oops. Now, okay, let's dive into the news for today. And I know why so many of you are drawn to this specific live, because of the title, right? Like the AI is entering workforce. So I want to start with a story that I think matters most right now. Okay, not because it's the flashiest headline that we saw, but because it kind of affects every single person that's watching this specific video. 2026 is officially being called the year AI becomes the workforce. And it's not a prediction anymore, because it's already happening. You see a lot of the AI replacing a lot of roles. 4,500 people were laid off by a specific company. And then they explicitly cited that AI has automated a couple of things that's happening in the company, and they had to like let them go. This 4,500 made up around 40% of the workforce of that organization. I'm not saying this to alarm you, but just stating facts. So, an MIT study kind of found that 11.7% of jobs could already be automated using the current AI tools and systems that we have right now. So, we are not waiting for somebody to invent something in the future to replace the current roles, but it's always already possible. Like 11.7% of jobs can be automated. So what does that mean? So as we spoke about, a company called Dow Inc, they kind of announced 4,500 layoffs, explicitly citing AI and automated manufacturing as the reason. And they did not like hide it. They did not even kind of make up stories saying that we overhired during pandemic and all. They explicitly mentioned that AI moves from making humans productive to kind of replacing human labor entirely in many areas. So white collar roles, legal, finance, marketing, HR, customer support, these are all the most exposed roles right now, and these are in factory jobs. We expected factory jobs to be kind of replaced with robots like since a very long time, but these are very much a high risk job right now. Many of you listening to this might be part of in any of these roles. So 80% of enterprise apps are expected to embed AI agents by the end of 2026. Okay, so every enterprise out there, if you haven't noticed, even your organization that you work in, maybe the college that you work in, if you are in the teaching sector, so everybody is like pushing on implementing AI agent for process and your product and everywhere. So it's practically what's happening here is basically they are getting your help to replace you. So, and not every company does this, I agree, and not every company also replaces their employees, but that doesn't mean these things are not happening. Okay. But then here is the other side, that we can kind of talk about, is basically, again, not to panic you or something. I'm just stating facts, and I've said this in a previous episode. Again, I'll say it again today. Yes, AI is displacing some roles. That is the truth, and that is the fact. We have to face it. But it is also creating new ones. I mentioned in one of my couple of episodes back, I mentioned the role called AI orchestrator. The person who knows the problem, knows how to implement it, and knows how to integrate it into a whole system. That role is wildly in demand, and nobody is filling it right now. And today, I want to add a few more to that list. Okay, so we have someone called agent managers. So they are basically managers, but they will be overseeing and fine tuning autonomous AI agents. Okay, so somebody would build these AI agents, deploy it into production, and this agent manager, their main role is to kind of and oversee these AI agents role, proofread them, verify if they are functioning properly, and kind of fine tune them, mostly kind of like maintaining these autonomous AI agents. So that's an upcoming amazing role. And AI integration architect. So this is another role that's coming up, which is embedding agentic workflows into enterprise systems. And we also have LLM ops specialist. So keeping models running, safe and aligned in production. Speaking of this, there is also one other additional role, which is the need of the hour compared to like any other roles out there, which is AI governance. Okay, so we know that these large language models tend to hallucinate, and if let autonomously, they also like make up tasks for themselves and then do a couple of things. We have seen cases where the entire production systems have been kind of erased. Replit's agent did that like a couple of months ago, and also like anti-gravity did that a few months ago. So we do tend to see all these things happening. So imagine something being erased from the production system that is currently actively being used by millions of users. That's a risk the business cannot take. So AI governance takes care of all of these things. So and also leaking out companies proprietary information, that's again something which LLMs can and tend to do. So how do you ensure that none of your data gets out? It's all within your company's network. And the decision making autonomous agents, how do you make sure that the decision that they make are ethical and not in the harm of anybody who's like working, or anybody out there? So these are the roles of right now, not 5 years from now, but right now. All right, so these are the roles that you've got to be equipping for. And no, these roles do not exist in these MNCs, where they are like working towards building AI tools and AI chatbots and so on. These roles are existing currently in your specific role. So they need agent managers to oversee marketing operations, uh, because somebody has kind of built AI agents for the marketers, and they need agent managers there. And they need AI integration architects, where you kind of have to like integrate your whatever support ticket tool that you use, like ServiceNow or SDP or whatever, and integrate it to your existing system of AI agents, so that everything is automated and you don't miss any tickets or something. So every role and each and every kind of role that you're currently in requires these new systems in place. And I mean, that's like the safest bet out there if you think about it, because who's gonna want to kind of do these expensive certifications only to be rejected in a lot of interviews, right? But the easiest way is to bring in AI into your current role. Be that pioneer. Just because you're from a non-tech background, you have not written a single line of code in like forever, doesn't mean that you cannot build stuff. There are a lot of no-code tools out there. Lovable, Claude Code, Cursor, GitHub Copilot, so many. These are like only like a few of them, but there are so many things out there. Even if you do not have an idea of like what to build, like what process to automate, there are so many tools out there. And I'd like to reiterate the Irreplaceable OS workshop that I'm hosting. That workshop explicitly focuses on identifying the one task from your regular list of to-do list to automate that specific task for you. So how do you identify that task? That's all we're going to be doing in that specific workshop. So if you're not already registered, please go ahead and then register, and I'll be happy to show you how you can become irreplaceable. Okay, now let's quickly check the reality in your industry. So, is your industry already feeling AI disruption? Drop drop in the comments like yes, not yet, I'm not sure. Whatever your answer is, please drop it in the chat. I'd love to kind of understand and know about it, as to what your industry is and what kind of impact it's having on your industry already. And how are you feeling about it? Are you more excited, more anxious about AI and jobs? Because there is no wrong answer here. Just go ahead and drop it in the comments. Okay. And moving on, here's something I find fascinating. Okay. We talk a lot about AI models, AI funding, AI jobs, but what we don't actually talk about is like, we nearly never talk about this, what's powering all of these stuff. Because at the end of the day, these are all different servers running across the globe. So what is powering all of these? And the answer is a lot and lot of electricity. So much, in fact, that it has become a White House issue this week. Despite all the war that's happening, this is a serious issue that's been discussed in the White House as well. So here are a couple of key points for you to kind of understand. So a coalition of major AI and cloud companies, including some of the biggest names in the industry, they just signed a White House pledge to address the concerns that AI data centers are driving up electricity bills and kind of straining the most critical power grids out there. And this is not a small thing. AI training runs consume enormous amounts of energy, and as model size grows, so does energy demand. So, for those of you who do not know, for these large language models to kind of run, you need a lot of GPUs. All right, so GPUs are these chip-based things similar to your CPUs that you have in your systems, but these are all like huge, placed in huge servers in huge data centers, and they tend to heat up on regular use. So you need a regular supply of water to cool these machines. Think of how your laptop or your desktop gets heated up after prolonged use, and that's why you kind of like need to you have the fans in your laptops, and also it's okay to kind of work in an air conditioned room. So in the similar thing, but imagine it to be kind of scaled up. So these are huge data centers, and these huge data centers need constant water and cooling systems to keep them cooled and not like burn up. Okay, so that's why a lot of these data centers are coming to a subcontinent like India. So India, a country which is surrounded by water on all three sides. So this is like the exact spot where they can kind of build these data centers with um, non-stop supply of water. So this led these companies to kind of take a pledge as to kind of use these energy in a very, very stringent way, if you will. Now, Amazon's 18 billion euro data center investment in Spain alone through 2035. That's just one company in like one country. Okay, the irony is that AI is being used to help solve climate change, but training AI is like contributing to the energy problem it's trying to solve. So this is more like the EV vehicles we see, right? So it runs on electricity, but then how does these electricity are generated based on burning coal. So yeah, it's kind of like a vicious circle if you will think about it. But this is a conversation we are going to be having for years now. AI is not just a software story anymore. It is infrastructure, it is energy, it is real estate. When said like in the last episode that AI is now a real estate story, this is what I meant. So to build these huge data centers, the physical world is being reshaped to kind of support this technology. Okay, and this is kind of critical today because as we as years progress, we would see a lot of different people kind of like start using AI more, and this would lead to a lot of scaling up of AI data centers. If you're not aware, there are 6 US states that have like banned any more new data centers in their specific state. This includes, I guess, San Francisco as well, which is the tech hub of the US. So yeah, this is where the world is heading. We have new models dropping in. ChatGPT 5.4 just dropped in. But then we also have these constraints on the electricity, using very, stringent use of electricity so that you don't cause a strain on the power grids. So this is also happening. Okay. Now, moving on. So we talked about AI replacing jobs in theory. Okay, but then let me give you a very concrete, very real example of it happening in a company right now. Okay, ServiceNow, as we all know it, it's a platform where mainly I've used ServiceNow in my very first company as a kind of SDLC workflow thingy. So you get tickets, you can maintain your inventory, you can kind of do run a company using ServiceNow. You find all the details in the ServiceNow. Okay, but now they have launched their autonomous workforce. So this is a suite of AI agents designed to handle enterprise tasks end to end without human involvement. Now think about that for a second. This is basically the L1 service desk AI specialist. So the first line of support tickets that you get, it's like already being resolved, and IT support cases are autonomously being handled, and it does it 99% faster than your average human. It's currently controlled availability with general availability expected in the Q2 of 2026. They also acquired MoveWorks, which is an AI company that handles employee IT requests, and integrated it directly into the ServiceNow AI platform. ServiceNow says the system handles 90% of the employee IT requests autonomously already. So let me paint a picture for you if you've not familiar with ServiceNow, and if you're if you're a student or if you're working in a startup, this kind of a process might not exist. But in big tech companies, big non-tech companies even, there is this process. You work with your laptops the day one of when you join the specific organization. You are assigned a number that could be your employee ID, right? Now, this employee ID would be assigned with a couple of assets that could include your laptop. If they give you the company mobile, so that could be included in it as well, and any other assets that you use, like maybe a monitor or keyboard, mouse that they give you. So all of these are assets that they give that are mapped to your employee ID. Now, you're not the only employee at this big organization. There are thousands of people out there. So how do they keep track of like which employee has like what, whether you have a Windows machine or a Mac machine, and when it was given, and when it's like due for an upgrade. So in order to maintain all of these things, there are a couple of IT tickets that's being logged, and one of the tools that helps in logging this ticket is ServiceNow. Okay, so this specific ServiceNow, so imagine this workflow. You are a employee who joined in an organization and they gave you laptop and phones and everything. Now you want to install something in that specific laptop. Not every company allows you to directly, download something from Chrome and then click install and install it. Nope. There are restrictions, there are security rules out there which kind of restricts you to install any tools that you want. So let's say you want to install Google Anti-Gravity on your machine. Now, because of these rules, you can download it, but then you cannot double click it or right click run as administrator it and then install it. It'll ask for admin credentials. So this is when you would raise a support ticket to the IT admin of your organization, and this support ticket goes via tools like ServiceNow. Okay, and now ServiceNow kind of has automated this specific thing. So previously, an IT admin would approve your request, and then kind of install it for you. But now these autonomous workforce, I'm assuming, I've not used it yet, but what I'm assuming is it looks into the ticket, validates the request, checks for approval from your manager maybe, and if all the check boxes are checked, it automatically installs the software. What is installing a software in a machine? But it's just like running a script. So if it's Windows, it will run a quick PowerShell script and it'll kind of install the software for you. If it's Mac, it'll run Homebrew or whatever installing tools are out there. It'll install it for you automatically without any human intervention. So this is a specific thing which ServiceNow has kind of automated. I hope that makes sense. And the one specific advantage to this is because a lot of IT admins kind of are under a lot of stress because of these L1 support tickets. All right. So there are so many people who wants to kind of install a couple of things. There are so many people with laptop issues, mainly software issues. Hardware, I'm not so sure how it can be auto resolved, but software issues are numerous. But when ServiceNow kind of introduces this suite of AI agents that handles these software issues for them, I guess IT admins are left with, um, you know, kind of free time, if you will, to focus on high priority, highly complicated tasks. So that's a plus we can see. Now, if you look at it, we also have, so think about what this means. All right, so level 1 IT support, that's historically been an entry level job. So if you're entering into IT, majority of you would be put into this specific support role. Okay, and a starting point for people getting into tech, this has been the starting point, and it is being completely automated away in real time. So ServiceNow is not the only company that does this. They are just the most transparent one about it. IBM, Salesforce, Microsoft, everybody is building this. And here's the thing, this is actually why I started the Irreplaceable OS workshop. So I'm bringing in the workshop again because it's pretty amazing as to what you can do in 1 hour, identifying the tasks that you can automate. Because L1 support, basic data entry, repeating repetitive writing tasks, these are all vulnerable. Okay, they can be replaced anytime. And what's not vulnerable is judgment, creativity, relationships, and the ability to work with these AI systems. So this is where humans win, and that's what we are building. Okay, so if an AI handled your IT support 99% faster, would you prefer it, or do you want a human? I would like to know your thoughts on this. So please, let me know in the comments. And um, yeah, I'd love to know. My personal opinion is basically, I am not pro AI when it comes to support ticket handling, because I hate chatting to an AI agent. So let's say I want to kind of return my Amazon parcel, but then it's entirely handled by AI agents. If you have not noticed, you could not speak to a actual human when you're when you're working with the Amazon support. You can speak to a human in a very late, and it happens at one point in time, but not immediately. It will take days for you to reach a human, and sometimes you might not reach this human. So for me, at least, have a voice agent, incorporate like 11 labs voice agent, where at least I can explain the issue, talk to the AI about it, instead of just chatting and then waiting for the AI to respond in a very generic, just a monotonous scripted answer. So this is something, that's just my opinion though. Now, we have reached halfway through this whole AI radio show. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, hit that follow button or connect button if you want to connect with me. If you're watching this on Instagram, what are you waiting for? Click that follow button. Okay. Now, if you want, if you can share this stream or share my channel to one other person who you want, it's like who's kind of struggling to find a job, or like survive in the job, so they have the full picture but not just the scary headlines. Because let's face it, everywhere you go, people are talking about how AI is like replacing them. It's like AI is replacing, AI is taking down jobs. I know my video kind of had this clickbait title of AI replacing humans. I agree, guilty. But at least I don't scare you. I show you the alternatives. So if this helped, like, please share it, please subscribe, and I'll keep making these videos. So let me quickly check if we have any questions from the audience in any of the channels. I'm just looking at the different channels right now to see if we have any questions. Okay. Awesome. Okay. I don't see any questions on LinkedIn and such, or YouTube, I guess. All right. So now let's get back to our episode, I guess. Let me LinkedIn. Sorry. Yup. No questions. All right. Now let me bring back the screen. Oh, the screen is already there. Let me quickly bring back it from here. Oops. And here you go. Okay. Now, story number 4 is something really interesting. Yesterday, I told you about GPT 5.3's hidden feature, which is GPT 5.3 like instant was dropped. And this is where OpenAI admitted that ChatGPT was too cringe. But there is something about this model update that I didn't cover that I think is really worth talking about today. So GPT 5.3, it's not just about personality changes here. It doesn't just sound not cringy. It introduces something OpenAI is calling cognitive density. Let me explain what cognitive density is. So instead of just making a model bigger by adding more parameters, which is usually done in all the different models, they kind of like used a new approach called enhanced pre-training efficiency, EPE short, to get 6x more knowledge density per byte. This is a significant architectural shift we're talking. These models did not get bigger, but they just got smarter. And if this methodology is applied to these open source language models out there, we can simply kind of install a highly efficient, high proficient language model without having to invest so much on GPUs. Okay, so this is what is like game changing right there about GPT 5.3's announcement. Now, they've also claimed that hallucination has reduced by 26.8% when using web search. I mean, we did know about this because, let's face it, if you use web search, it gets information only from the, by searching across the web. And also, they claim that 19.7% on internal knowledge alone. So, if you choose like internal knowledge, like your Google Drive or your company's database in order to get answers from it. So there is like 19.7% reduction on hallucination on it. Now, Claude Sonnet 4.6 is also delivering near office performance at SON pricing. The efficiency raise is on across all of the labs out there. So here's what I find really, really interesting about this. For years, the AI arms race was about making models bigger, more parameters, more compute, more data. But we are starting to see a shift over here. The labs are now competing on efficiency, like, how do you get more intelligence from less compute? That's a very different race to run. And it has massive implications for who can build AI and at what cost. Smaller companies, lower energy, lower cost, that's the world this points to. And tying this back to our previous story where we saw the shortage of the different electricity and putting a strain on power grid, I think this is pretty amazing. And also, if you think about this skills.md, skills markdown file that's been trending because of Claude, that is again a huge efficiency gain because we need not like fine tune models right now to match our style or match our company brand voice or something. We can just like create skills file for each of these skills that you want. Maybe you want Claude or your Gemini to kind of create an article in your voice. You can literally create a skill markdown file, which maybe I can show you a skills file that I recently created. Let me open it up. Let me Yeah, so I tried creating a copilot for my medium articles. I'm not completely done with it, but I just want to show you how it looked like. Okay, so this is anti-gravity, and this is my skills file. So it's called Arthi's Medium AI Copilot. So what I did was feed a bunch of different models into my bunch of different articles that I've already written, and then asked it to kind of create a role and persona. So this is my role and persona, I guess. So you're an expert AI writer. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can see. Let me push this down. Let me push that. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. So this is my role and persona, and these are my core capabilities and workflow. The how the So this is something that the tool that I'm building. So how I can give data to it so that it can create articles for me based on that specific data alone. Okay. So raw URLs, PDFs, some paste text, kind of like how you work with Notebook LM, and mandatory factual research. So no matter what documents I give this model, it has to do a web search to understand and get the factual data, because at the end of the day, I'm doing, I'm like putting out there all the facts about AI. So nothing should be wrong here. And also dual operating modes. So it should also generate something from the scratch, and also some copilot expansion where based on the notes that I've shared, it has to like kind of tweak it to kind of like sound very cool, sound like me. And signature writing style, which was kind of identified from my couple of articles, very very recent articles. Because of Bridgerton, I tend to write like dear gentle reader and so on. So just found that style as well. You can always tweak it at your however you want. And how the structure and formatting should be in terms of emojis, the M dashes, and so on. And intros and outros, how should that look like? And also what are the constraints and safeguards, what to avoid and what to include, and so on. Okay, so this skills file is something that's game changing. You can literally build any skills file out there. Let me quickly show you the Claude skills repo so that what kind of skills are available. So that, yeah, let me just open it. Okay, so this is Claude. I don't know where it went. So I'm just going to be minimizing it a bit. Now I'll look for Claude. Where are you? Here you are. So this is the Claude's skill repository that's like available by default when you download Claude the paid version. So you get a skill creator. So you basically give whatever question it asks, and how you can basically create your own skill in Claude. And there are a couple of skills as well. So there is this analyzer markdown, where a role is defined, the process is defined, what inputs are there, it's defined, and so on. So you have a comparator markdown, a grader, and also different assets as to how you can evaluate skill that you kind of created right now. And there is this evaluation viewer as well. And there are a couple of schemas which it needs to follow in order to create that skill. And these are a couple of skills out there. So algorithmic art, so basically creating algorithmic art using this specific JS file with zero randomness and interactive parameters. So you also have MCP builders, you have Slack GIF creator, theme factory, web artifacts builder, and so on. So this is how you can avoid fine tuning a model and then kind of use a specific skills file to get what you want. All right, now moving on to the next story. Yeah, so GPT 5.3's feature kind of, we were talking about how it uses less compute in getting more intelligence by basically using the EPE framework. So, quick question over here. Do you use ChatGPT daily? Have you noticed a difference in since the GPT 5.3 update? Let me know in the comments as well. I'd love to know. And are you part of the quit GPT moment? Because let's face it, so many of us kind of moved from ChatGPT to Claude. So are you one of them? I'd love to know that as well. Now, we've talked about what AI is taking. Let's end on what it's creating, okay? Because I refuse to end a Friday show on a purely scary note. I'm not like the rest of them, okay? So the emerging roles that are growing right now, we already kind of spoke about it. So agent manager, this is one role that we spoke about it. Here are some more details as to what an agent manager would be like. Let me get this mic with me. Okay. So people who kind of manage, monitor, and optimize autonomous AI agents, and which are kind of like running inside these companies. So think of it like being a manager, but your team is kind of filled with AI agents, okay, as we talked about. So I think this is better because humans are unpredictable if you think about it. Mm, okay, I'm not gonna advocating here to replace all humans with AI agents, but agent manager is a role. So you can be agent manager, managing agents, fine tuning them based on creating the skills file, evaluating them from time to time to know that they're not digressing from their actual role, and so on. Now the other role is basically something called AI integration architect. So this is someone who designs how AI agents kind of plug into existing enterprise systems. This is very critical because for companies that have been here for like several decades, they have certain systems in place. Some of these companies also use certain legacy tools out there which they cannot decommission, which they cannot switch from. So it's your duty to kind of understand and kind of how you can plug AI into these legacy systems. So that's the role of kind of AI integration architect, and this role has a massive demand, and almost nobody's doing it. Everybody wants to kind of become the AI engineer, building fine tuning large language models, but nobody's actually looking at integrating it into existing systems. Now there is this new role called LLM ops, which is large language model operations. So keeping AI models running safely in production, that is a huge thing, right? Like in production it should not make any mistakes, otherwise you're going to cost millions for your company. And again, that kind of, I don't know, people kind of let you go because you've screwed, and then in the production it has made a mistake. So as an LLM ops engineer, you would make sure the LLMs are running safely in the production, and monitor for any kind of a drift, hallucinations, bias, and also the DevOps of AI, if you will. Okay. And there is this amazing role which I kind of love. It's called the AI orchestrator. So this is basically kind of like your PM role, if you will. So you know the problem, you know how to implement a solution, and you know how to connect it to the whole system. Think of this PM. So they kind of speak to everybody in that specific organization, right? They talk to developers, they talk to support personnel or debug engineers, if you have somebody like that, and they understand the customer problem and kind of like communicate between all of them to kind of get it done and give it to the customer. So AI orchestrator is one such person, and this is the rarest and the most valuable role of all. So if you are a PM currently, so this is the role that you can upgrade yourself to. There might not be such a role existing in your company today, but then you can be the first. You may not get the title, but at least get the job done, get the hike, get that promotion, if you will. So you kind of need to transition from a knowledge worker, a person who kind of works on years of training and follows SOP, and you know basically does the job that's like given to them, and you just have to go ahead and then grab it, create new avenue for yourselves. If this specific job is like so important to you and you want to kind of not lose it at any cost, this is what you have to do. You have to shift yourself from a knowledge worker to someone who works with agents, manages agents, orchestrates agents. Okay. So if you are knowledge worker today, your next evolution is becoming someone who manages AI agents doing your old tasks. So don't do stuff manually, try to automate them. All right. And here's my honest message to you on this specific Friday. Okay. Let me close this off. Let me, make myself bigger so that we can, you know, you can see me more. So where is the streaming thingy? I'm gonna remove it. Yeah. So yeah, the biggest takeaway that I have for you over here today is basically, stop freaking out. I know there are a lot of things that's happening across the world, and it tends to freak us all out. Do I exist in my current role anymore? Am I that replaceable? Will my role be eliminated completely? Will I ever get a job? So these are the different questions that people usually kind of spiral with, especially on a Friday. So I just wanted to kind of leave you with an honest message on a Friday, is that the worst thing you can do right now is to kind of ignore this. Okay. The second worst thing is panic about it. The best thing that you can do is to just get curious, learn the vocabulary, understand what these tools actually do. Because the people who understand AI, they are the ones who, they are not the ones who kind of build it, but they are the ones who kind of understand it and are going to be irreplaceable. And that is exactly what this show is about. I bring to you the knowledge from across the globe that you can take into your work each and every day, so that you need not scroll through hours and hours of content and scour the internet for new AI updates. You just tune into this show every day at 8 p.m. if you're joining in from India, and listen to me ramble for 1 hour. And if needed, you can also sign up to a newsletter, and if you cannot join this 8 p.m. show, I post a summary of it the next day, and you can always replay this specific show while you're commuting, while you're like doing your dishes or getting ready in the morning, whatever. Because I'm not sometimes I do demo a couple of tools, and how to use anti-gravity, how to build something with anti-gravity or Lovable or any tools out there. But it's mostly AI rules, AI news, right? Okay, so let me know which of these roles that we discussed so far sounds more interesting to you and sounds more like you. So agent manager, or AI architect, or LLM operations engineer, or AI orchestrator, which one are you, and which one you would kind of want to become? Let me know. I would really, really love to know what is your preference and how you want to, kind of move on in your existing role. So let me know in the comments if you're still watching. And okay, everyone. So that is the wrap for season 4, episode 5 of this AI radio show. And what a week it has been, right? Apple launched 7 products, like kind of that's the first in the whole history of Apple's launch. And Samsung declared the agentic AI era, and OpenAI fixed ChatGPT's cringe problem. Not, I'm not saying this, they call this the cringe problem. And today we talked about the workforce shift that is already happening right now. All right. So before I go, 3 things. All right. So, one, tomorrow, the AI Sisterhood podcast, the very first episode is going to be launching. And I have a very special guest who's going to be part of it. So Deb Haas, she's going to be joining me, and I promise you, you will not regret tuning in. The link is everywhere. You know, just tune into YouTube and you would find it. So tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. IST, you can kind of like tune into the AI Sister podcast, AI Sisterhood podcast, and yeah, get inspired. Now, number 2, if today's show kind of made you think, I need to get ahead of this, I need to become this AI expert who brings in AI to their role, come to the irresponsible. I was about to say irresponsible, but then this is irreplaceable. Okay, come to the irreplaceable OS workshop. Okay, that's where I'll walk you through applying AI to your current role right now, step by step. So visit my website, the arthiaicollective.com, kind of the same name from where I'm going doing this live from across all of these platforms, and you would find a link to kind of register, or simply drop me a DM. I'll send you the link. And 3, build your own Jarvis on April 12th. Okay, this is again another workshop where I teach you to, if you want to actually build something, an AI agent of your own. So this is the workshop, limited seats. So go grab yours before it's all filled out. Okay. Thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with me, or if you're just starting out on a Friday morning, have a wonderful weekend ahead and share this episode with someone who needs to hear the jobs conversation. Okay. And I will see you on the other side tomorrow on the AI Sisterhood launch. And I'll see you on this specific podcast, the AI Radio Show, on Monday. All right. This is Arti signing off, and I'll see you tomorrow.